topic of discussion for all you laser users out there. So we have a member that is interested in purchasing a laser engraver, and he is wanting some good information on what to buy, the wattage, the uses of the various
God.
systems that are out there. And I know that there's like 10 of y'all
Well,
that use
there's
lasers. And
there's
so,
there's hundreds of systems, Dane.
Yeah.
okay,
So a good question.
so hold on. So similar as last week with the Shellick question. So I just want, I've got a laser. It's brand new in the box. It's still in the box. I haven't used it, so I know a little bit about them, but I'm going to defer to the people that actually use lasers and the light and the light burn softwares and what other softwares that are out there. Um, and then James, DeBro, I know you're on. If you want to ask the specific questions that you're looking for, then everybody that is a genuine laser user, we can have a great discussion about that to carry out the rest of the program.
Thanks.
All
I'm
right.
interested in doing like the fractal burning, but without the electricity. I think Billy does something like that.
Billy did
I was
something
gonna
like
say
that.
that. Talk to Billy about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But also to where I could put bowls in there and do a design while the bowl rotates, or pins like that.
It depends on it. It depends on how much you want to spend, to be
Yeah,
honest.
definitely. Yeah.
And I mean, the minimum you could get by with for doing some of the stuff you've seen me do, or engraving the bottoms of your bowls, or any kind of a design on a piece, is probably 10 watt. But um, those lasers have a tendency to have a relatively short focal length. And if you go much beyond that focal length, then you lose detail, like in a curved piece.
Yes.
So you got to think about things like that. I've found for situations like that, my 22-watt laser is a little bit better. If you're talking about cutting, it depends on, again, what you want to cut and how thick it's going to be. 22 watt will do up to 3/8 of an inch solid oak. 10, you'll be lucky to get 1/4 inch with 10 passes. So, and again, it depends on how much you want to spend. If you want to take mugs or turned wooden pieces and engrave a design around the outside, then you need one with like Matt said, you need one with a rotary attachment. And it's that just adds a little extra cost.
And to clarify what Billy is saying here, Billy is talking specifically about diode lasers.
Yes.
And a diode laser, they have 40 watt. I have a 40-watt diode laser. I can cut over 1/2 inch walnut with that thing.
Right.
Like it's ridiculous, but it does leave a lot of charring on that surface compared to cutting something that's way thinner. But yeah, they do sell rotary attachments for those, and then with a diode you can cut a lot of stuff or engrave a lot of stuff, but you're not going to be able to without putting some kind of marking solution on it or something. You wouldn't be able to etch glass or cut acrylics that are like a CO2 laser if you were wanting to move into those types of materials. And if you were really wanting to etch any metals or something like that, you would probably need to go into a fiber laser. And you're going from hundreds of dollars to ten thousands of dollars as you move across those options I just gave you. So
yeah, I've seen a lot of that pricing on the internet now.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the laser that Billy bought, which I think he bought the Creality Falcon 22 watt.
Yeah, the Falcon 20, to me, the Falcon 2, yeah.
But yeah, the Falcon 2, and I thought that was a great value for that type of laser. But I'm not sure Creality is continuing forward with that laser. I thought I read something where maybe they're not, and so I'm not sure. But that is a nice middle of the road. A 22 watt laser will do a lot of stuff, and compared to my 40 watt laser, the 22 watt lasers tend to have a slightly smaller focus point, and so they can do slightly better detail. They leave if you're engraving on something like I engrave a lot of aluminums that have been iodized or something, and so that diode laser will like etch and change the color of it a little bit. And so on like a bar key for somebody or one of those ridge wallets and things like that. But the difference sometimes can be in the size of that laser when it's focused. Mine is about 20% bigger than what the 20 watt lasers are, and so mine, still has a ridiculous amount of detail unless you're trying to be really specific on a metal or something that has a real flat surface. On a wood surface, you're not going to notice the difference.
What's the learning curve on one of those?
It depends on how computer savvy you are. So if like Dane had mentioned, Lightburn as a software, and that's sort of like the industry standard for diode lasers. If you're good at using any typical computer software that might allow you to draw squares and circles and boxes and make little designs with them, that software can be very, very straightforward and easy to use. Without that, then maybe focus on getting a laser that has their own proprietary software that sort of out of the box supports that specific laser a little better, and then the learning curve might be a little quicker, but you might be limiting yourself into the types of things you can design in that software later.
Right.
And there are tons of tutorials on YouTube for Lightburn. So
yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to learn or pick up. And
One thing
Lightburn
I wanted to
also
mention as far as diode lasers go is I've been doing a lot of watching videos on it and reading some articles. There's a big shakeup going on in the diode laser industry right now, and a lot of people are slowly starting to bow out.
I have noticed that people are leaving that market.
Yeah, I have an Ortier Laser Master 2, which is an older one, and I only use it to engrave the bottom of my work. But somebody was reporting that they can't even get a hold of Ortier right now. Website's still up.
Reality is still making lasers. In fact, they've got a 60 watt on the market now.
I got a question for you. You know, on the diode lasers, you've got it's on. Do you raise it up when you're doing like say the bottom of a cup or a vase, or how are you doing it?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to raise it up.
You can raise it up. You can put most of them are open frame, and you can raise them up and put them on blocks so they get up higher so you can adjust it. I built a box out of some scrap plywood, a lab lift underneath, scissor lift on a platform, so I can raise it up and down. But if I do anything over 10 inches, I took that out. I'm sliding in some pieces of wood and sticking it on top.
Yeah.
Is that the Ortier Laser Master 1?
That's the Niji.
I have an Ortier Laser Master 2 as well.
Yeah, I have a Niji.
When I raise it up, I just put blocks under it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The problem
but
you run
essentially,
into,
the open frame, you can raise it up.
Right. The
That's
problem
what
you
I
run
liked
into
about
with
it.
a lot of the newer diode lasers is a lot of the newer diode lasers are going to closed cabinets, because smoke extraction is better, and eye protection is also better. So they're going to closed cabinets, and that's going to limit your height.
And it raises the price of them a lot, and so all of a sudden you're way closer to the entry price for a CO2 laser.
Right.
And there's a benefit to a CO2 laser compared to the diode lasers.
They're a lot faster.
The CO2 lasers can be a lot fast, like twice, 3 times as fast. But the light that a diode laser emits, it's like welding, right? You don't want to look at it, and so there's a safety concern with the diode lasers that when you put it into a box, you can limit people's exposure to that light, and without having to wear a goggle or something like that when you work on it. The CO2 lasers do not have that issue. They don't use a diode emitter or whatever they are called.
Yeah.
So,
Wavelength is different.
yeah, way different wavelength.
And one thing, no matter what laser you're using, you need to vent it outside.
yes,
And I think
Absolutely.
CO2 is more than anything because they really create a lot of smoke. There used to be a gentleman on YouTube, the Wood Whirler. I don't know if any of you remember him or not.
yes.
He bought
Larry.
one of those cheap Chinese CO2 lasers, and he had a problem because his stuff was so big, he cut a hole in the bottom. And he's put things up underneath because, they had a very limited 4-inch space.
Yes.
Yeah.
They also, the older ones like the K40 and the K40 clones, I had one CO2 laser. They're water cooled for starters. So you've got to have a water pump and a water source. And but they had a very small bed. I mean, I think the bed on mine was like 7 by 12 inches or 7 by 10 inches. It wasn't very big at all. And you just really were limited to what you could put in it. And so I didn't keep that long because I couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, they're okay if you're doing flat stuff.
Yeah. Now they make bigger CO2 lasers. What is one of them called? The Boss? I don't remember. They make bigger CO2 lasers, but now you're getting into thousands of dollars instead of hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, even into the $10,000 pretty quick.
Yes.
Yeah, like Thunder, or there's a Thunder laser. Who makes? I can't remember the name of the company that makes the Thunder. But those things get
what
big.
would be good? What would be a good quality entry level laser for somebody that would be able to cut through 1/8-inch material?
Something like an Ortur Laser Master 3, 10 watt, or maybe the 3 is a 20 watt. I don't know.
I think it's a 20 watt.
And what's that price range?
They've gone up too.
They have.
I like the
I just looked
Creality
at
Falcon
one.
2s like Billy has.
I do too.
They're not that much more expensive. I mean, maybe $100 more expensive or something, but not $500 more expensive. And the size of the projects, the size of the bed that it can do, it's bigger. The one that I started out with one very similar to what Brenda showed, and it's very limiting in its size and power, but ridiculously easy to use.
Right now, the open frame Ortur Laser Master 3, 40, 20, and 10 watt, it'll do all three, is $329. They're having it. They're on sale for 80% off.
That's
I was gonna say that's a good
value.
price.
Yeah,
What's the
that's
name of that one?
Very good price.
The Ortur Laser Master 3.
Artur?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll put a link.
ORTUR.
Well, now that says it's $900.
I was going to say 40 watts for 300 and something would be crazy.
Yeah,
I know. That may be the 10.
I was gonna say I'd go on that.
The 10. The 10 watt. 6 months ago. The 10 watt is $329. The 20 watt is $999, and the 40 watt is $1379.
Yeah. And then, of course, if you want to do anything round, you got to get a rotary attachment.
Correct.
Yeah.
How much do the rotary attachments run?
Well, there's
Around
different
200.
types. there's so many things out there. It's really hard to pinpoint.
Hey,
The-
you can
Right,
get
but information wise, so James, and whoever else is interested in a laser, so many types, that's the problem. You go on and you look, and you're
Yeah.
inundated with all these options, and some people just say to hell with it and close the page down.
The
Well,
cheap
the Orchair
cheaper
That's
ones-
why
rotary
we're
attachment
talking
that I
about
was
it.
looking at was about $125.
Yeah, your cheaper rotary attachments will
That's it. Yep.
it will set things in a roller, so it runs rollers on the
Mhm.
bottom, and there's things to set them up. So if you want to put something like a different dimensional top and bottom mug or whatever on it,
Thanks,
you
Brenda.
can keep it centered, but it's still controlled by a roller. The more expensive of the rotary attachments is like the one that I have, and actually has a small chuck on it, so you can chuck the piece up and it spins around the center with the chuck, not using
Okay.
it's like
the
a
roller
laser
on the
lathe.
bottom. Yeah, kind of.
You guys has the lasers. Do you have a shop at the outside or inside? The reason I'm asking is because of smoke.
I use mine inside in my upstairs office, and I vent it out the window.
Do you have a fan that blows the
That's a-
smoke out?
I built a muffin fan into it that vents.
Okay.
That's exactly what I do.
I have
Yeah.
mine in my shop,
Me
both of
too.
them. They're side by side, and I have basically a commercial size ducted fan that I've got plumbed to the outside of the shop, and it pulls from both lasers and dumps it through a flat vent that I've got that I put on the wall on the outside of the shop.
Oh, okay.
Mine's probably not the best. I've got it in a garage and I just use air cleaner.
Oh, really?
Mine's
They
sitting
do
right
make-
here beside me. I use the ceiling fan and open the patio door.
Yeah.
Or
I
I
used
don't
to
even do nothing.
I used to run mine through with that same filter. I mean, that same fan. I used to run it through a high dollar carbon filter, but it didn't do quite good enough for my liking. So I went ahead and poked a hole in the wall. I didn't want to, but I did. So
Yeah.
And some of those
it's
carbon
just
filters
so
can
much
cost you
better.
more than the laser.
Pardon?
Quite expensive very quickly.
I built
yeah.
my own little carbon filter box that has, and so I have these 12-inch by 18-inch carbon filters I can put in it, and it does about 75% of what I wished it would do. So if I'm
Yeah.
going to do something that's about 10 or 15 minutes, I just turn that thing on and I won't even smell it. If I'm cutting some stuff for a long period of time or doing a whole bunch of stuff, I got to run that thing to the door and open my garage door because it'll fill my little garage. And my wife isn't letting me poking holes in anything.
Yeah.
In my
There
shop,
are rules.
I have standard house windows. I bought an air conditioning, basically a piece that goes in the window. It kind of you open the window partially, you put the plastic piece in, you close the window, and then I have an air conditioning fan that goes out the window. And the only time I can really smell anything, and I'm a super smeller, so I can smell anything, but the only time the smell is really obnoxious is if I'm cutting acrylic. Acrylic is nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I just you don't have to if you have a window, you don't have to cut a hole in. They make those air conditioning whole vent thingamajigs for people who
Yes,
have apartments.
Yeah, you can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's.
What do y'all do about dust if you have the unit in your shop?
I keep blowing it off, blowing them off.
I built a box. Mine's in a box.
Is it okay?
And so
One of them is in an enclosure, so it doesn't get
an
so
enclosure.
dusty. I keep it closed. The other one is in a scratch-built enclosure that's got one side, the side facing the shop is open, and I need to put a door on it. Is what I need to do because it gets a little dusty, but I just blow it off and it's fine.
Oh, the only dust I have in my shop comes from James's lathe because we share a wall.
I have a question though. Are there disposables like with a printer, you have your toners and all things like that? Are there
No,
supplies that you have to buy with a laser?
no,
No.
No.
just
Your
the things that you
material.
wanna, yeah, just your
Yeah.
materials.
And I have a few other things that I use on my laser. I don't typically I make a lot of stuff for crafting and not obviously not a lot of wood turning stuff, but I have I mask a lot of my stuff with basically really big masking tape to prevent scorch. And then the other thing that I use quite frequently is double-sided tape, giant sheets of double-sided tape because I don't like glue squeeze out, just weird like that. So if I'm gluing two pieces of wood together, I like to use, I have a double-sided tape that I like that's made by 3M, and they make it in 12 by 12 sheets essentially.
Wow.
Or on the roll. You can also buy it on the roll. It's even cheaper that way. So if I'm going to be putting two pieces of wood together that I've cut out, I use that double-sided tape 9 times out of 10 over glue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do etch glass with mine, but in order to etch glass, you've got to do one of two things. They make a black they make a black adhesive backed basically it's paper, but it's you put it on and you engrave onto the black, and it actually cuts through the black paper and etches the glass. The other thing that you can do that I've done before is you can spray paint it with a flat black, like a flat black primer. You just spray the glass with flat black primer and then engrave it, and it cuts through the primer and engraves the glass. That way you actually, otherwise it goes straight through the glass and it don't do anything.
Okay. A lot of information.
One place where I saved a lot of money. I don't buy business cards anymore. I get 1 3/4 inch round disc. I do a wooden nickel on one side and put my information on the other. People throw away business cards. They'll hang on to wooden nickels.
Yes, that's an idea. Interesting.
I put the link to the double-sided tape and the masking tape in chat.
You?
Thanks, Tony.
Hey, Brenda. Is she still on?
Yes. What?
There, what? The tour that you've got, does that work with your Niji?
Yes. There's just a there's a plug.
Yeah.
You unplug a part on the Niji and you plug this in and then this works.
Right. That's the way most of the way most of them work. You unplug the, I can't remember if it's the X or the Y.
The Y axis.
But
Yeah.
you unplug the Y axis, then you have to plug the rotary attachment into that.
Yeah.
And one of the
simple.
cool things about Lightburn is that it actually has an algorithm for doing rotary pieces that lets you measure you measure the bottom of where your engraving is going to go, and you measure around the circumference where the top is going to be, and you feed that into Lightburn, and it will automatically adjust the image so that it cuts right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And what it's doing there is if you're going to burn a circle onto something like a mug, if you check just a normal circle and you burn it on there, it'll have a very oval look when it's finished.
Correct.
And one of the things that Lightburn does is it knows how to stretch that out so it still looks like a circle when it's put on the side of a mug like that. It's really pretty slick.
And Lightburn is also being used by a lot of commercial CO2 lasers. They have a special version And they have a version for fiber lasers as well.
You asked earlier about lasering the bottom of a bowl or something like my cup that's taller. One option, and what I'm doing now, and the piece is actually downstairs, but I'm making another one of these for my grandson. It's going to be smaller. It's going about this big, but the bottom piece is a solid piece, right? So I engraved the bottom of it before I'm building it up.
Right.
Okay.
That's just another option of, lasering the taller stuff. If you don't forget to laser it before you build it up.
I have a very difficult setup for using my big laser to do the bottom of bowls. And so I went out and bought the LaserPecker 1 Pro off of eBay or something from their company shop, cheap, $150. And then man, like a month or two ago, I was doing something with Doug Miller, and he has one of those, and he had built a little turned a like a cup for it that you can slide that laser into on your tailstock, and then basically it's already centered on the bottom of a bowl if you've got your bowl in the headstock, and you just set the distance in it, use your phone to pull up the graphic that you want to print and send it to it, and it's not fast and it's not real powerful, but in 5 minutes or something it'll do the bottom of that bowl, and it looks great.
If all I wanted to do was engrave the bottom of my pieces, I would go with the LaserPecker 1.
Yeah, and I was just like, it was so big of a pain in the butt for me to raise mine up inside of my box that it sits in to keep the smoke out, that I just got tired of dealing with. I wasn't putting my logo on the bottom of things I wished I would, and so I was like, $150 was worth it to me, and I went ahead and bought it. I would love to show that
I wish
guy
I would have
to
known
you,
that
but-
about the LaserPecker 1 before I got my work here. Because
Yeah,
eventually I had great plans for my laser when I got it, and all I use it for is signing the bottom of things.
Yeah.
Roger Woolman has a slick setup for his LaserPecker. I don't know, Roger, do you have it? Have you had a chance to go grab it, or can you?
I can go
grab
get it.
Yeah, go grab
right
it
back.
and then show it off, please.
If I was at home, I'd love to go get the one that I made. I mean, it's basically a copy of the one I saw Doug Miller make, but it works just perfect.
Yeah, it's in our videos on YouTube. So he showed it. Look for Doug Miller's demonstrations because he showed us how he did it. Hey, Dane, we got a couple folks with gallery. Do you want to go to them while Roger's getting his stuff?
Well, I want to make sure James has got enough. He's armed with enough information from the laser discussion first. James, are you good?
Yeah, I really appreciate this. I know where Tawny lives. I'm gonna go by and see her stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to set up something with Billy. He doesn't live that far from me.
Okay.
And we'll work that out.
Okay.
Because I look at the stuff online and I don't have a clue what they're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I figured, when you came to me asking about it, and I'm like, yeah, we'll just do the same thing as, we do in the past, and we'll just start a discussion on it. And, with those that actually, use a laser and have experience with the hardware itself, and then along with the software, to make things sing. So
yeah,
outstanding. So
yeah, I've got a MacBook Pro. Will that work pretty good on those as a computer?
Yes.
It may not.
Okay.
Most of the
Lightburn
software I know works on the Windows machines.
Lightburn works on a Mac.
All right, well, there you go.
They
Yep,
have they have a Mac
absolutely.
version.
The
I've actually heard they've
the
made it
Xtool
better
software.
for Mac too.
Yeah, well, Mac has always been better at the graphic stuff. It's actually really sweet with Illustrator. If you're using any Adobe products, if you combine Adobe Illustrator with Lightburn, it can do some sweet stuff. And a Mac should be fully capable of doing that. No
Okay,
problem.
cool.
If not, I'll help you get a cheapo laptop and it'll be fine.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'll
this
try
nice
to
thing
set
with
up something
Lightburn
with
is
you
it
and
doesn't need a lot
James.
of power.
I design my stuff in my office on my Mac. I save it on a network drive. I go out to my shop. I have a Windows laptop out there. I open the same file up in the Windows laptop in Lightburn and then burn it using the Windows machine. So I literally use both of them every time I do anything.
Yeah, I pretty
Maybe
much
what
do
we
too.
do
I do my
level up.
design work in here. You can, with your Lightburn license, you can put it legally on 2 machines, and they watch because you're basically online somehow, and you've got to be logged in order to use it. But I've got it on 2 machines. I'll do my design work up here and take it down to the shop with me. Works great.
Billy, how'd you get it on 2 machines? Because mine won't let me on my second machine.
I just put the code in both machines.
I called him up and I said, "Hey, I just bought a new computer. Can I put this on the third computer while I'm transferring over everything from my old one?" And he was like, "Yep." And I hit like refresh or whatever, reopened the app, and it was there. I had emailed him and he replied, "Yep, you're good." They were real easy to work with for me. So if you're having an issue with it, I would go to the support email and text and email them.
Yeah, I had to do that when my old laptop crashed.
I'm on a different program probably than you guys are because I'm using a giant 90-watt CO2 lift.
Right, yours is the DSX version or whatever, the DSX.
Yep.
And they may treat that a little bit different because that's a $1,000s machine instead of a dinky little.
They do charge more for that license. I know that. Yeah.
Yes,
and they may have more restrictions on it.
Attachment for my laser pecker.
Roger, where are you at?
I'm here.
Talk, Roger. Or you can highlight yourself, Roger.
I'm here.
All right, I'll highlight you. Okay, there you go.
All right. Okay, here's the attachment I've got for my laser pecker that I've made. It's completely adjustable. I can move this up and down. I can move this up and down. So and I just have to measure from here to the end of my bowl 8 inches, and I can burn.
Right.
That goes in
And
your
how's
kill
it-
stock?
And
That
how's
sits in
that
your kill
attached?
stock?
And this piece here is actually, when I made it, it has 2 rolling wheels. And you can take the end, like if you want to finish the bottom of your bowl, but you want to keep support, take your tailstock out, you put this in, you got your 2 wheels there. That leaves your bottom open to where you can get in and turn everything.
And does that go in your tailstock?
Yes.
You just used an old pen mandrel shank, didn't you?
Now this is actually a Morris taper end on
Right.
it.
Yep.
It's part of the one or the Nova's
Life Center.
tailstock.
Okay.
There's tail center kit.
Yeah, I've got an old pen mandrel that's Morse taper that I'm going to use for
Yeah, that
making
would work
mine
just fine.
similar to that. Yep. So slick.
I have a 1/4 inch thread in it instead of this has got a 3/8 or 5/16.
Wire then connects into your cell phone?
Yeah, this goes through my cell phone.
Yeah, the laser pecker one operates off the cell phone only.
Or a tablet.
Or yeah, tablet works too.
Yeah, or yeah,
Hmm.
does not work on a computer. Very cool. All right. Thank you, Roger.
Mhm.